After receiving the divorce certificate, I told Declan that I was pregnant. He sneered indifferently, "Then can you please get rid of it? Afterward, remember to bring it here for me to confirm." He thought this was my excuse to try to keep him. But the next day, I did exactly what he wanted and sent him a phone box filled with the remains of the baby. When he cried in pain, I blocked him and left the country. Later, when I was returning to my country with my daughter, I ran into him at the airport. His eyes were red as he looked at me and my daughter with the gaze of someone who had lost and regained something precious. "I knew you wouldn't be so heartless to get rid of it. That was the child we had been hoping for. Come here, sweetheart, I'm your dad." Before I could deny it, the man next to me couldn't help but take my hand and said angrily, "What are you shouting about to my wife and daughter?" On our 1-year wedding anniversary, Declan sent me the address of a private room. I excitedly put on a beautiful dress and went to celebrate our anniversary. But when I arrived at the location, I heard Declan chatting with his friends. "Isn't today your and your sister-in-law's wedding anniversary? How dare you leave her to attend Camilla's welcome home party?" one of them asked. Declan shook his wine glass and smiled casually. "What's the problem? I even invited her here. What's more important on our wedding anniversary than Camilla?" His other friends joined in teasing him. "Haha, that's Declan for you, teaching his wife a lesson. I thought after you got married, you wouldn't care about Camilla anymore," another said. Declan glanced at him sideways, slowly swallowing his wine. "Marrying her was just an impulse. What does she have to compare with Camilla?" "The way you pursued her certainly didn't seem like an impulse," the other man responded. Declan coldly looked at him, his tone indifferent. "It was just a show. Who knew she would fall for me like this and insist on marrying me?" "Ha ha ha, true. Only Declan is such a good guy that when a girl proposes to him, he agrees." I froze in place, unable to move. That night, I didn't go to the private room as planned but chose to go home instead. However, when I got home, my phone kept vibrating, constantly reminding me that I should divorce him. Declan didn't come home all night. As for where he went, I found out from Weibo's trending topics. Breaking. Young pianist Camila was spotted staying at a hotel with a mysterious man, an explosive night. I clicked on the post and read hundreds of words of gossip. It even included a blurry photo of a man and woman embracing. In the photo, the handsome man held the slim, beautiful woman possessively in his arms. They ignored the paparazzi's camera, embracing each other face to face, smiling intimately, with no care in the world. I opened the comments section, where people were praising the couple's beauty. I thought I would stay calm, but my vision blurred unexpectedly. I stared for a while, until the phone vibrated again, lighting up with a number I knew by heart. It was Declan's number. I answered the phone with the faint thought of asking him if the trending topic was true. But before I could say Declan, Camilla's sweet and naive voice came through. "Amelia, don't believe the paparazzi's gossip. I was drunk last night. Declan just took care of me in the hotel all night. We didn't sleep in the same bed the whole night. You're so generous, I believe you won't mind." Before she could finish, Declan's indifferent voice interrupted. "What's there to explain? You're just making unnecessary fuss." Camilla seemed to forget that I was on the line and couldn't help but bicker with him. "I'm a girl, I understand girls. What if Amelia gets jealous? Although we stayed in the same room all night innocently, as your good friend, I have to explain it to her. Ugh, you women are such a hassle." "Declan, who are you calling troublesome? Say that again and see what happens." I listened to them banter on the phone like a couple, my frustration hard to swallow and impossible to release. I endured it, but finally, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I threw up. Having not eaten breakfast, I just vomited up some clear acidic fluid. That release made the couple on the phone finally remember I was still there. Declan stopped flirting with Camilla. His anxious voice came through the phone. "Wife, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well?" Hearing his voice made me nauseous again, and I threw up once more. Declan sounded even more frantic. "Wife, are you sick? Wait, I'll come home right away and take you to the hospital." I covered my mouth and was about to say no, but the acid in my stomach hit me again, and I couldn't stop myself from throwing up. By the time I wiped my mouth with a tissue, the call had already been hung up. Since I had already decided on a divorce, I didn't want to get entangled with him anymore. I sent him a message saying, "No need." He replied quickly, "I'll be home in 20 minutes. I stared at those words on the screen for a long time, silent. How could Declan go from joking with one woman 1 second to rushing to take care of his wife the next? I couldn't figure it out. I leaned back, slumped against the wall, but memories of my time with Declan flooded my mind. For years ago, I ran into Declan after he had a car accident on my way to work. Seeing his car about to catch fire, I risked my life to drag him out and sent him to the hospital. After he woke up, Declan was deeply moved by my saving him and repeatedly tried to give me money as thanks. I refused his money because saving him was just a moment of kindness. But after repeatedly refusing, he became interested in me. He started pursuing me. He sent me flowers, picked me up from work, ordered desserts to my office to bribe my colleagues, and so on. Whenever I rejected his kindness, he would use the excuse of being indebted to me for saving his life to persuade me. Even when I refused, he remained gentle and calm. He was handsome, yet emotionally stable. I thought any girl would have a hard time rejecting such a suitor. Slowly, I fell for him. Before long, we started dating. After I started dating Declan, he remained consistently gentle and considerate in front of me. This not only made me fall deeper for him, but it also made me certain that he loved me as much as I loved him. So, after 3 years of dating, I took the initiative to propose to him. He thought for a moment and agreed. But after we got married, I learned that Declan had a white moonlight in his heart, someone named Camila. The reason he had the car accident was because Camila had rejected him, and in his frustration, he drove recklessly to clear his head. This past of his was revealed to me by Camila herself on our wedding night, when she returned from abroad. At that time, I found it somewhat amusing that Camila was telling me about how my new husband had once liked her, and I didn't believe her. After all, in these 3 years, Declan had treated me so well. When I was sick, he was always the most anxious to take care of me. When I was feeling down, he was the first to comfort me. When I felt lost about the future, he gently guided me and helped me focus on my dreams, which I gradually pursued. They say love is like tending to flowers, and I firmly believed that Declan loved me. But a year after our marriage, I discovered that while he was caring for me, he was also endlessly caring for Camila. At first, I thought it was Camila causing trouble, but later, I realized the reason was that he couldn't help himself. He enjoyed my admiration, yet couldn't let go of the emotions he had felt for Camila when he was younger. I loved him, so I tolerated a lot, always thinking he would change. But when he abandoned me on our anniversary to celebrate Camila's return to the country, talked down about me in front of friends, and stayed in a hotel with Camila overnight, if I still loved him, I would be truly pathetic. Declan arrived home early. When he saw me sitting on the couch, he went to grab his ID, and tried to pull me out of the house. "Let's go to the hospital." I shook him off and didn't budge. "I'm fine. No need to go to the hospital." My voice was light, but I added, "By the way, I have something to tell you." Before I could say the word divorce, my eyes fell on the lipstick stain on his shirt collar. Even though I knew that it was not uncommon for a man and a woman to be alone in a room together, seeing that glaring red mark made me want to vomit. And I did. Declan, seeing this, panicked and pulled me out, speeding all the way to the hospital. After sitting in the consultation room, I couldn't even mention divorce because I was distracted by a series of questions from the doctor. "Are you married? Are you planning on getting pregnant? When was your last period?" After answering a series of questions, the doctor handed me a test order and said, "You might be pregnant. I'm giving you a list for estrogen, progesterone, and HCG tests." I stumbled out of the examination room, my mind in chaos. I had already decided to divorce Declan, but if I was really pregnant, what should I do? Should I terminate it? I returned to the waiting room, unsure of how to tell Declan. But before I could figure it out, his message appeared on my phone. Baby, Camila says there are too many paparazzi around her, she can't leave her house and hasn't eaten breakfast. I'll bring her breakfast and come back to the hospital. Love you. I stared at the words, love you, on the screen, my hand trembling as I held the phone. Well, that solves it for me. He's already made the decision for me. I replied coldly, okay. The sun was hot outside, but the air conditioning inside was freezing. I walked alone to the lab, my body feeling cold to the bone. I left the hospital and went straight home. I ordered a bunch of takeout and discussed the divorce agreement with the lawyer my friend recommended. After finishing my meal, the lawyer had prepared a preliminary divorce agreement. Everything was set, just waiting for Declan to come home. I waited until 11 o'clock that night. The door opened with a click. Declan walked in, looked around the brightly lit living room, and smiled as he walked toward me to hug me. I turned away, avoiding him. Declan thought I was just upset and knelt down to grab my hand, apologizing, baby, I didn't mean to leave you. It's just that Camila had so many reporters following her, she couldn't leave. She's been my friend for so many years. She asked for my help, and I couldn't refuse. I shook off his hand and laughed bitterly. Can a man and a woman share a room alone for years and still be just friends? Declan's face stiffened for a moment, but he quickly grinned proudly. Looks like my wife is jealous. There's nothing between me and her. Last night, we didn't sleep together. I slept on the sofa, far from her. Once, Declan had shared a bed with Camila. At that time, there were other people around. When I was angry with him, his friends would always defend him. But under my insistence, Declan had promised me that it would never happen again. But is sharing a room okay as long as they don't sleep in the same bed? I glanced at the lipstick mark still on his collar. Declan, if you changed clothes, that might be more convincing. I pointed to the lipstick stain on his collar. All right, no more talking. Let's just get a divorce. I handed him the divorce agreement I had taken from the sofa. We've been married for a year, and there's not much marital property. We'll divide it equally. Just give me the cash. Declan frowned as he took the divorce agreement, saying, baby, you're joking, right? You didn't mind all those other times, why is this different? I couldn't take it anymore and interrupted him with a cold laugh. You know full well how many times you cheated on me with Camila. Baby, I don't agree with the divorce. I really didn't do anything with Camila last night. I dropped the agreement from my hands, stood up, and looked down on him. Don't agree? Then let's separate. When the time is up, I'll sue you. During this time, I can't guarantee that Camila won't get labeled as the third party. I turned and locked myself in the bedroom. Declan banged on the door outside. Baby, open a door. Let's talk. We really didn't do anything, we're innocent. Baby, can't you stop making a scene? We were just drunk, the lipstick stain was probably from her accidentally brushing against me. We didn't go all the way. I lay back on the bed, feeling lighter. As Declan's pounding on the door grew fainter, I drifted off to sleep. The next morning, I contacted several paparazzi and tipped them off about Camila spending the night with a married man. At first, I thought the news of Declan being married would never get out. After all, as a well-known young talent in City A, with all his money, he could easily suppress these scandalous rumors. But unexpectedly, the news spread quickly and even trended online, as if it had wings. When Declan called me angrily, I was reading comments from netizens who were calling them scumbags and shameless. Emilia, you've misjudged me. This is between the two of us, why involve Camila? She's a famous pianist, and by doing this, you're ruining her reputation. In the background, I could hear Camila crying, her sobs loud and clear. I had my phone on speaker and remained calm. Misjudged you? What did I do that made you so angry? You still have the nerve to say that? Didn't you release the news about Camila interfering in our marriage? I took a sip of soup and sarcastically responded, did I force you two to stay in the same hotel? Did I book the room for you? Or did I force you to marry me? After a long pause, Declan's hoarse and helpless voice came through. Wife, please believe me, nothing happened between me and Camila. I sneered. Oh, so it almost happened, didn't it? There was a long silence. No one said anything. I suddenly found the whole situation meaningless. I took a deep breath, cut to the chase, and said, Declan, either you and I go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to divorce tomorrow, or I'll keep exposing more of your and Camila's scandal. If Camila wants to maintain her image as a talented pianist, you better divorce me now. Before he could respond, I hung up the phone. That evening, overwhelmed by Declan's relentless calls, I turned my phone off and slept through the night. When I woke up, my phone was flooded with 99 plus messages from Declan. The most recent message, sent at 5 a.m., said, "See you at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 10 a.m. tomorrow. You're not to make things difficult for Camila again, or I won't let you off." Even though this was the result I wanted, my heart still ached. This was the person who once promised to love me forever. At 10 a.m., I arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau on time. When I got there, Declan was already there. Usually fastidious about his appearance, today he wore a wrinkled shirt and had unshaven stubble. He looked at me with a complicated expression, as if he had suffered a great injustice. "Why don't you believe me?" he asked. I handed my documents to the staff and coldly replied, "You spent the night together. How do you expect me to believe you?" After signing, I passed the documents to Declan. "Stop talking, just sign." He tightly gripped the pen, gave me a deep look, and coldly said, "Amelia, once I sign, there's no turning back. With your conditions, how could you find a better man than me? Don't forget, you can't get pregnant." I looked at him and sneered, "Don't worry about that. Think about Camila. If you don't sign, her involvement in ruining other people's marriages will be completely exposed." Mentioning Camila, Declan glared at me. I didn't look away, keeping my eyes locked on his. Declan coldly laughed and said, "Fine, fine. I'll see who ends up regretting it. Who else would want you except me?" With that, he grabbed the pen and angrily signed his name. After completing the procedure, I looked at the freshly printed divorce certificate, smiled faintly, and turned to leave. At the door, Declan stopped me with a stiff expression. "It's hard to get a taxi here. Where are you going? Let me give you a ride." I shook my head, feeling disgusted. "We're divorced now, there's no need to be involved any further." I turned and left. Not even 10 meters away, I received a notification on my phone about my health checkup report. It showed that I was pregnant. I had suspected I might be pregnant, but seeing the confirmation still weighed heavily on me. After all, I had decided not to keep the child on the night I planned to divorce. But why should I bear the pain of ending a life all by myself? He was the one who betrayed our marriage. In the end, I was the one hurt, and I was the one who suffered physically. I couldn't accept that. I turned around and quickly walked a few steps, calling out to Declan, who was getting into the car. "Impregnan." Declan froze for a moment, then his face broke into a smug smile. "Changed your mind already? It's been less than 10 minutes. If you beg me, once I deal with Camila, maybe if I feel good about it, I'll consider remarrying you." I shook my head, staring at him without blinking. "I don't lie about these things. You've forgotten that you can't get pregnant? Are you trying to use a lie to threaten me into getting back together?" I sighed, feeling completely defeated. "I really am pregnant." Declan scoffed indifferently. "Oh, then please get rid of it, and don't forget to confirm it with me afterward." My heart felt heavy, my pain spreading from my chest to the rest of my body. I had never regretted knowing him, marrying him, or saving him this much. I stared at him, my voice hoarse. "Are you sure you want me to confirm it with you?" Declan smiled and waved his hand casually. "I'll take you at your word, don't forget to bring it to me." I immediately made an appointment for an abortion. The next day, after the procedure, I lay weakly in the hospital bed. A man next to me was holding a phone box, looking at me with hesitation in his cold voice. "He's still your blood. Maybe you shouldn't send it after all?" I turned my head away, unwilling to look at the phone box, but my tone was firm. "Send it. Once it's out of my body, it's his father's responsibility. Why should I bear it all alone? I didn't want to be this harsh, but the anger in my chest made it impossible for me to back down. Love is supposed to be a shared responsibility. Why should the person who made the mistake get away without any burden? The man stayed silent for a while, then lowered his head and said, "I understand." 5 years later, before I returned to my home country, I heard from friends how Declan reacted when he received the phone box. They said at first he couldn't believe it, thinking I was playing a prank. But when he saw the surgical slip attached to the box, he trembled and had his secretary verify its authenticity. After confirming it was real, the once proud Declan knelt and wept while holding the phone box. He started searching for me everywhere, sending countless messages to my old phone number and WeChat account. But I never received any of them because by then, I had already gone abroad. But now, I'm back with my lovely daughter, Lily, and I ran into him at the airport. I had just gotten off the plane and was walking through the crowd with Lily when I suddenly heard someone shout my name. Amelia. The voice was so familiar that for a moment, I thought it was just my imagination. I paused in my steps, thinking how unlucky I was to run into him right after coming back. "Mom, what's wrong?" Lily's sweet little voice snapped me back to reality. I patted her little head and smiled, reassuring her that everything was fine. It was just a small delay, but soon someone approached me. Of course, it had to be him, Declan. His hair was messy, and he was out of breath, as if he had run from a distance. "Amelia, I thought I was seeing things." "I finally found you," he said, his eyes red and his gaze turning teary when he saw Lily. "I knew you wouldn't be so heartless to get rid of our long-awaited child. Come here, my sweet, I'm your dad." Seeing that he misunderstood the situation, I quickly pulled Lily back a step and positioned myself protectively in front of her. Lily, still young, peeked out from behind me, tugging on my sleeve with her little voice asking, "Mom, who's this uncle? Why should I call him Dad? I already have a dad." Declan's face softened when he saw Lily's curious head, but when she spoke, his expression twisted in disbelief. He stepped forward, gritting his teeth. "I am your dad. Your mom loves me." Lily, who was always spoiled by her own father, stuck her tongue out at Declan and made a silly face. "No, my mommy loves my daddy the most." Suddenly, her face lit up, and she excitedly shouted, "Daddy." I looked up and saw Liam striding toward us, hurriedly making his way over with his usually neat hair now disheveled. He pushed Declan aside and scooped Lily into his arms, taking my hand in his as he grumbled, "Don't you have a wife and kid? What are you yelling for?" Then he smirked, his eyebrows raised. "Ah, I forgot now you don't." Declan stood there, dumbfounded, and looked between Liam and me. "Liam, so all these years, it was you who stopped me from finding her. I should have known you were interested in her. You're a scumbag. Don't you have any shame? Stealing your brother's wife?" Liam raised his chin and sneered. "Enough with the nonsense. She's my wife now." Then he added, "Who even wants to be your brother?" The two men began to fight at the airport. Declan threw the first punch, and Liam retaliated. By the time security arrived, Declan was knocked to the ground by Liam's punch. With the help of the security guards, he stumbled to his feet, his lips swollen and bruised. As I was holding Lily and rushing toward Liam, Declan's face had turned ghostly pale, his voice trembling. "Amelia, you weren't like this before. Didn't you love me? How could you be with someone else?" Sometimes, when speechless, you can only laugh. I gently touched Liam's bruised cheek, then turned to glare at Declan, repeating the words he once said to me. "Oh, so can you please get rid of it? Afterward, remember to come to me for confirmation." With Declan's increasingly pale face, I spoke slowly and firmly. "I meant what I said. If you don't, I'll think even less of you." Despite the noise from the airport, our little area had unknowingly become a silent vacuum. Declan stood there, quiet and defeated, his lips barely moving. "Amelia, I thought you were just angry when you said that." His gaze shifted to Lily, and his voice gained a bit of courage. "But now that the child is born, can we start over?" Liam gripped my hand tighter, looking at me with concern. I squeezed his hand back, shaking my head at Declan. No. That child you wanted, I gave him to you as you wished. Don't fool yourself. Lily isn't even 3 yet. As Declan's face grew even paler, I continued, Declan, it's over. We've been over for a long time. The drive back with Liam was quiet. By the time we arrived at the house he had already arranged for us, it was late. After getting Lily to sleep, I had just finished coming out of the bathroom when Liam entered, still in his white shirt and black trousers. He methodically loosened his already loose tie, his movements carrying a certain assertiveness. By the time he was in front of me, the navy tie had been tossed aside carelessly. He placed both hands on my waist, pulling me into his arms, not minding the water droplets from my body soaking his shirt. He lowered his head, his dark eyes staring deeply into mine. I expertly rose on my toes, wrapping my arms around his neck, and pressed my lips against his, letting him take the lead. I could feel his long-suppressed unease from the day being soothed. After a while, when my legs were starting to give way, Liam finally showed mercy and stopped. His lips brushed against my cheek as he whispered in a hoarse voice, Amelia, I was really scared today. You need to make it up to me. His nose touched mine, our breaths mingling. Annoyed but with a hint of playfulness, I pushed him away slightly and pouted, Where did all your coldness go? Liam tossed me onto the bed, lowering himself to kiss me, a wild grin spreading across his face. You like it? I can play the cold part too. Liam was Declan's friend. The first time we met was when Declan introduced us. At the time, Liam sat on the couch, holding a cup of tea in a bar full of people. When Declan introduced me, he took a sip from his cup and said nonchalantly, It's not going to last, so why hurt her? Though he was talking to Declan, his gaze never left me. His dark eyes behind his silver-rimmed glasses felt like they were pulling me in. When I looked into them, it felt like they might swallow me whole. I quickly avoided his gaze, thinking his words sounded harsh. At first, both Declan and I thought Liam didn't like me. We assumed it was because of my family background, and that he thought we weren't from the same world. I secretly complained to Declan, he looks all proper, but why does he love cursing others so much? Declan had comforted me then, saying, That's just the way he is. He doesn't care about anyone. Single as can be. He's probably just jealous that I have such a beautiful girlfriend. If he doesn't like you, we'll just leave him be. So, I kept my distance from Liam. But Declan loved socializing and always invited friends over. Liam was at every gathering. Over time, as I saw him more often, I started to change my opinion of him. Declan often drank too much at gatherings, and when that happened, Liam, who never drank, would always help me get Declan into the car. This continued for 3 years, until the night I successfully proposed to Declan. After I succeeded in my proposal, Declan was, as usual, drunk. Liam was unusually quiet, but he had also had a drink. He wasn't drunk, though, and helped me get Declan into the car. Thinking that he had drunk a little, I offered to take him home as well. I expected him to refuse, but that night, he silently helped me get Declan into the back seat, and then sat quietly in the front, fastening his seatbelt. I was overjoyed after the proposal and talked non-stop all the way. I've forgotten what I said back then, and I don't remember Liam's emotions or state at the time. What I do know is that when I parked the car at Liam's house, he unbuckled his seatbelt but didn't get out of the car. Instead, while I was chattering on about having some honey water after I got home, he suddenly asked, Don't marry Declan, okay? At first, I thought I misheard him, and I turned around in disbelief. Huh? Then Liam leaned in, cupped my face, and kissed me. This was a villa area, and it was quiet around us. The sound of our lips and tongues meeting was particularly clear. His kiss was full of possessiveness, forceful and intense. I was stunned for a while. When I regained my senses, Liam had already let me go and gotten out of the car. He stood outside, nodded at me, and calmly said as usual, Drive carefully, have a safe trip. It was as if that kiss never happened. I was left dumbfounded, lowered my head and mumbled a soft and quickly drove away from the villa area. I didn't know if Liam was drunk or if he really had feelings for me, but I decided to keep my distance from him. After all, he was Declan's brother, and a little courtesy was enough. I just hoped he was truly drunk and would forget about this when he woke up. I struggled with the thoughts for a few days, but it was all in vain. In later gatherings, Liam didn't show up again. Until the day I married Declan, Liam didn't attend the wedding but sent a cash gift through someone else. The day before the wedding, I received a butterfly necklace from him. I put the necklace in the box and forgot all about that incident, marrying Declan. After that, I only contacted him the night I decided to divorce Declan. I asked a friend for a lawyer recommendation, and suddenly, Liam added me. He then sent me the contact of the lawyer. And it was also him who stayed with me when I miscarried. I was devastated at that time. He extended a helping hand, and I accepted. I didn't consider his feelings for me, I just embraced the unclear support he gave me, completely lost and accepting his help without a second thought. Later, Liam took me abroad. He encouraged me to continue my studies, took me to exhibitions, and tried to make me more cheerful. He was always there for me, never counting the cost. A year later, I found my footing abroad and apprenticed under a renowned oil painting master. One day, when I returned home, I saw him waiting downstairs. I was moved and suddenly called his name. He turned around, and when he saw me, his cold, noble face showed a faint, almost imperceptible smile. That day, I took him home with me. As he changed his shoes in the entrance, I suddenly asked, "Liam, what do you think our relationship is?" He paused, looked up at me seriously, and said, "It's up to you. Whatever you say it is, that's what it is." And so, we confirmed our relationship. After I got pregnant with Lily, under his persistent pursuit, I married him. After we were exhausted, Liam held me and we showered again. I looked down at the marks on my neck and muttered in displeasure, calling him an animal. But Liam, clearly satisfied, pulled me into his arms and kissed my forehead. Just then, my phone rang. I reached for it, but Liam pressed my hand down, his voice smug. "Still have energy? Want to go again?" I quickly shut my eyes, afraid he would unleash his wild nature again. After all, he was always so enthusiastic about it. Feigning sleep, it didn't take long before I drifted into slumber. So I didn't see it, but after I fell asleep, Liam picked up my phone and deleted some messages. The next day, Liam and I woke up early to take Lily to kindergarten. The kindergarten had already been chosen and was very close to where we lived now. I originally planned to take Lily alone, but Liam thought Lily's first day at kindergarten was very important, so he came with me. After we waved Lily off at the kindergarten, he hurried off to work. I turned back home, and on the way, I ran into Declan. He opened his arms and blocked my car. If I hadn't braked quickly, I might have hit him. I wiped the sweat from my forehead in panic and angrily shouted, "Declan, are you crazy?" Declan's mouth was still bruised, his face stubbled, and he no longer looked as confident as before. He knocked on my car window, looking haggard. "Amelia, can we talk?" I was angry and tried to drive off, but he stayed close to the car. I glared at him. He pleaded, "I sent you a message, but you didn't reply. I had no choice but to come find you. Amelia, can we talk?" The cars behind me kept honking, so I had no choice but to nod. We went to a nearby cafe. Declan pushed a latte with milk toward me. "Amelia, this is your favorite coffee." I didn't drink it and responded impatiently, "Just say what you need to say, I have things to do." Declan stared at me blankly, and his eyes suddenly reddened. "Amelia, you never spoke to me like this before." It made me want to laugh, and I really did laugh out loud. "Declan, I thought I made myself clear at the airport. We're divorced now. Did you forget why?" "I didn't. I'm really curious how you have the face to show up in front of me." I truly didn't understand Declan. After our marriage, he was having an affair with Camila and ended our marriage himself. Now he comes to question me about why I'm not treating him the same as before. It's laughable. Declan's face turned pale, and his head dropped even lower. His voice trembled, "Amelia, it was my fault before, but I've changed. I haven't been in contact with Camila for a long time. I know I was wrong. Please give me another chance, okay? I deeply regretted that I had even hit the brakes. How could there be such shameless people? I stood up, had nothing more to say to him. But just as I turned to leave, he grabbed my arm. Amelia, why are you being so heartless? What does all these years of our relationship mean? I've been looking for you all these years. Don't you want to see the child we lost back then? I buried him in a peaceful place with birds and flowers. Are you really so heartless that you won't even see him? Amelia, what do I need to do to make you forgive me? Do you want me to die? Before I returned to the country, I had imagined what it would be like to meet Declan again. In my fantasy, I would stay calm. In fact, I did. But all that ended when he mentioned the child we lost. In this life, besides him, I have never wronged anyone. After losing him, I kept dreaming. I dreamt for whole nights about him, dreaming of a faceless baby lying alone in a foam box. I cried to Liam that I regretted it. Even though I didn't want him, I shouldn't have sent him to Declan. Liam gently touched my head and took me to his grave. That was when I found out the child in the foam box wasn't him. My guilt toward that child finally eased a little. If Declan hadn't cheated, he would have been born smoothly. Or, if Declan had cheated a year later, he should have been in kindergarten like Lily. But there are no ifs. I feel guilty for him, but Declan is even more guilty. So how can Declan even bring him up? With my eyes reddened, I turned around, grabbed my coffee, and threw it at his head, saying one word at a time, Declan, you killed him. You have no right to bring him up. I will never turn back, not even if you die in front of me. The coffee drenched Declan, and blood started dripping down his forehead, staining his white shirt. The people in the cafe turned to look at our table, and whispers began to spread. I strode out of the cafe amidst the noise of the crowd. Behind me, I vaguely heard Declan's uncontrollable crying. Some customers gasped, "Oh my God, there's so much blood. Should we call an ambulance? That handsome guy is crying and kneeling, how tragic. He looks so heartbroken. What did he do wrong for that beautiful woman to be so ruthless?" I didn't look back, walking straight out of the cafe. When I got into the car, my tears dripped onto my phone screen. I was uncontrollably sad and called Liam. "Liam, I miss you." Liam immediately recognized my voice was shaky and asked urgently, "What happened?" I covered my mouth, my voice hoarse. "Nothing." Then I couldn't say anything more. He didn't speak either, quietly working on his business while silently comforting me. After a long time, when I had calmed down, I said, "Sorry to disturb your work." "I'll wait for you at home." It seemed like Liam had been waiting for me to speak. His gentle voice came through the phone, "Okay, I'll come home early tonight. By the way, has the venue for your art exhibition been confirmed? If you're free tomorrow, let's go check it out." I smiled and agreed, "Okay." In the evening, Liam went to pick up Lily. Lily changed her shoes and rushed into my arms, holding a small cake in her hand. "Mom, I missed you so much today. I got you a small cake on the way home." I kissed her little face, feeling much lighter. "I missed you too, sweetie. Thank you for the little cake." Lily kissed me back. "You're welcome. Are you feeling better now? Dad said you were in a bad mood today and needed something sweet." I was surprised and looked up at Liam. He frowned and scolded Lily. "I thought we agreed not to tell Mom that." Lily made a face at him, then buried her head in my arms and mumbled, "But Mommy and I don't have any secrets. By the way, Mommy, you haven't answered me. Are you feeling better now?" I smiled even more brightly, stroking her little braid. "Much better. Thank you, Lily." Lily stayed in my arms, acting spoiled. "Mom, can I sleep with you tonight?" Liam was the first to refuse. "No. Why? You've been monopolizing Mom for so many days." I listened to Liam and Lily argue seriously, genuinely smiling. If happiness could be materialized, this moment would be mine. The next day, I went to check out the venue for my art exhibition. I had chosen the venue while I was abroad. After seeing it, I was very satisfied. As I walked, I imagined which painting to place where, and whether I should put some decorations in the area that couldn't fit a painting. I was lost in my thoughts. That's when I noticed Camila standing in front of me. We hadn't seen each other in years. She had matured, but also looked much more haggard. The once innocent, white dress-wearing Camila now wore an outdated, old-fashioned suit and bright lipstick. She looked at me with jealousy, then said viciously, "So the buyer for my gallery is you? You've divorced Declan. Where did you get the money to buy this place? Don't tell me you're doing something illegal." I couldn't believe my recent luck. I had just slapped one scoundrel yesterday, and now another one was here. I sneered and slapped her face. With all my strength, I sent her crashing to the ground. I looked down at her from above. Just because you're doing business like that, don't think everyone else is the same. More scum showed up one after another, draining my patience. Before I could say anything else, I saw her pale, bruised face. She held her face, no longer with her usual arrogance, her voice sharp. "I didn't do such things. I wasn't interested in figuring out if she had or hadn't. I just found it unlucky and thought to myself that I would need to find a new venue." I walked out briskly, calling my assistant to discuss the delay in the exhibition. The assistant cautiously asked, "Amelia, is there something wrong with the venue? Why do you suddenly want to change it?" I frowned and sighed. "I just saw the venue, and I met the gallery owner." Before I could finish, my assistant cut in, "Amelia, I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I didn't do a background check, so I picked this address. It's all my fault." The gallery had been a place I had asked my assistant to find for me while abroad. It wasn't her fault. She had no way of knowing about my past with Camila. "It's fine. It's not your fault. Just find a new one. Sorry for the trouble." The assistant seemed to breathe a sigh of relief and repeatedly said, "Thank you, Amelia. This was really my mistake. I didn't check the gallery owner's background. At first, I just saw the low price and good location, so I put it on the list for you. After you chose it, I was worried about telling you." The gallery owner was once a well-known pianist from a wealthy family. After he fell on hard times, he became a kept man, and because he interfered in someone's marriage, he was beaten up by the original wife. He's been a hot topic on the internet ever since. Everyone knows him as a mistress. I froze in place. Inside, I felt nothing, not even a stir. I almost found it amusing. So after Declan betrayed me, he still didn't end up with Camila. What did he want back then? After thinking for a while, I could only describe him with one word: cheap. At night, after I brought Lily home, I received a message from Liam. He said he would be home late tonight and told me not to wait for him, to go to bed early. That night, while the maid was bathing Lily, I turned on the TV and, bored, began browsing Weibo. A report has revealed that senior executives at Jingxing Group are suspected of embezzlement and bribery. The police have intervened in the investigation. Additionally, the group's owner, Declan, is under investigation for bribery and links to criminal activities. I stared at the screen for a moment, then thought better of it and didn't click the link. I logged out and started playing a puzzle game. The issues between Declan and I were in the past. His good and bad news no longer had anything to do with me. "Mom, I'm done. Can you come tell me a story now?" Lily's sweet voice called. I put down my phone and replied, "Okay, I'll be right there." Later that night, I was half awake when Liam woke me up. He held me in his arms and kissed my forehead. I snuggled against his chest, acting spoiled. "Why are you only back now?" Liam gently stroked my hair, apologizing in a low voice. "Sorry, I woke you up." I didn't speak but tightened my arms around his waist. As I drifted back to sleep, I vaguely heard, "Declan's family has fallen. Declan jumped off a building and died." I turned over and fell into a deeper sleep. 3 months later, my art exhibition was successfully opened. Liam, holding Lily's hand and carrying flowers, came to celebrate with me. Among the visitors at the exhibition, Liam handed me the flowers, smiling proudly. "It seems many people like Amelia's paintings. Congratulations on the successful exhibition." I stroked Lily's head, smiling as I accepted the flowers, winking at Liam. Then thank you, President Liam.